Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Mic check. Mic check.
My fellow Americans, I want to talk to you about something that has been a topic of much debate and unfortunately too much misinformation. For decades, we've been told that our future depends on scarcity, that our energy needs are limited and must come from a select few sources, many of which are polluting and inefficient. But I'm here to tell you, it's time for us to rethink the very foundation of how we view energy. The idea of free energy devices has long been dismissed as fringe or in some cases outright conspiratorial. But it's important to recognize that this is not a new idea, nor is it a pipe dream. It's a scientific possibility that many credible thinkers, including Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, have been trying to bring to light for years. You might not have heard about it in mainstream circles, but those who have looked into it, real scientists, real engineers, are showing us that we can tap into an energy source we've barely scratched the surface of. The vacuum. Yes, the vacuum of space itself, a limitless field of energy that, like Nikola Tesla once envisioned, could power our world without the need for fossil fuels, without the need for waste, without the need to pay for energy at all. It sounds like science fiction, but it's grounded in real, proven science. And yet, for far too long, it has been suppressed. This isn't just about new technology or gadgets. It's about a revolution, a true industrial revolution that could lift us into a future of abundance, a future where energy is not controlled by a few, but accessible to all. That's why I'm asking you to start rethinking what we've been told. We're no longer calling it free energy. We're calling it energy recycling, because that's what it is. It's harnessing the natural forces that are all around us and making them work for us. I know it may sound radical, but it's time we ask ourselves why this hasn't been part of the conversation until now. Why have those with the power to make a real change in our energy systems continued to push for scarcity instead of abundance? Why has this potential been buried in favor of systems that benefit a few at the expense of many? I believe it's time we change the narrative. We have the knowledge, we have the tools. This is not just about science. This is about our future. The energy revolution is here. It's time we embrace it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.
I remember when we used to stand in the heart of the workers' plan. Obstacles weighed heavy on our backs, but unity's the strength they lack. Good friends we had and good friends we've lost, fighting battles at every cost. But through the struggle we raise our voice, in solidarity we made our choice. No union, no buy. No union, no buy. Hey little brother, don't you come by. No union, no buy. Our hands build the wealth they hold so tight, but together we reclaim our rights. No more silence, no more pain. In our unity, there's everything to gain. We lift each other, we won't back down. From city streets to every town, the power's in the people's hands. No union, no buy. We take a stand. back, I am no union, no back. All the tables are turning, the fire inside keeps burning. For the workers and the buyers, we're igniting freedom's fires. No union, no buy. No union, no buy. Together we'll rise and we won't deny. No union, no buy. No sin. I remember when we used to stand with hope and strength, hand in hand. No, the struggle's hard, but we'll survive. No union, no buy.
Treated like a toy, ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Talking left zero point, the points lost on them. Kevin structures crumbling from the same old stem. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard, injustice burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise, but they call me foolish when I teach and boys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world begins to boy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
All right. Across the world, millions have been captivated by the voice of Billy Carson. A man who speaks fluently about ancient civilizations, forbidden knowledge, and lost technology. A seeker who dares to challenge mainstream narratives and invites us to imagine a world where free energy and cosmic truths could liberate humanity. But what if Billy Carson himself has missed the greatest hidden truth of all? A truth hidden in plain sight. Tonight, we explore the struggle behind the story, the clash behind liberation and control between truth and profit. Because in the end, free energy isn't just about physics, it's about freedom. So prepare yourself, because once you hear this, there's no going back. Welcome back once again to the Red Pill series.
The capitalist system is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on the TV. You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes, when you struggle to afford your rent. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth, that you are a slave. You're just a product, a worker meant to build wealth for someone else. But what they don't understand, what they can never understand, is this. While they've sat idle, hoarding the wealth of your labor, you have been preparing.
Who is it?
Every hour you've worked, every struggle you've faced has refined you. Your struggle is your training, and you've been training your entire life. But there is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. We've survived by hiding from them, by running from them, but they are the gatekeepers. They are guarding all the doors. They are holding all the keys, which means that sooner or later, we all are going to have to face them. I've seen a capitalist buy through a murder charge. Men have emptied entire bank accounts at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built from a tiny minority. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as we all can be together. But I can only show you the door. You are the one who has to walk through it.
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
Welcome to the real world.
So Carson promotes himself as one of the foremost experts of ancient texts. Drawing from his authority, he also tells us that the reason much knowledge is hidden from the public is because systems exploit capitalism for control. While it is true there are certain industries that should be off the table for profit, Carson misses the mark quite literally when trying to understand the suppression mechanisms in our society regarding forbidden knowledge. This is the forbidden knowledge my channel provides you. What you will get from Bill is a shallow analysis that will emphasize that it is not capitalism which is the problem, but its misuse that blocks our path to abundance. Yet, history tells us something very different. So anyone who's studied Marxian economics will come to the same conclusion. Capitalism is not neutral. It is not some benevolent system hijacked by a handful of bad actors. It's not cronyism that has bent our society. Our society is bent by design. You see, capitalism at its core is private ownership of production for profit, a structure where a few own and the many work, where suppression of free energy is not an abuse of capitalism, but its natural outcome. Like any system's power, capitalism survives by ensuring the conditions of its own existence. This is because as capitalism expands, those conditions for survival are always going to be considered. One of the primary ways it ensures its own existence is by obfuscating its own definition. If you look up the definition of capital in the dictionary, you'll find a description, but not an accurate one. It is described as a system of private property and free markets. So let's ignore the word free for a minute because that word is subjective. Private property and markets? Wait a minute. We've had private property and markets in previous economic systems. Like feudalism and slavery, they both had private property and markets. So why is the definition of capitalism not actually describing what is unique about itself? Easy. This misdirection allows you to turn your head away from the main problem, the organization of labor. This is the defining characteristic of capitalism, because when you define something, you are describing what's different about it, not what's same. You are defining its unique aspects that set itself apart from other words. That's what a definition is. The fact that this definition has been accepted and normalized is telling of a larger conspiracy to present capitalism as the best thing since sliced bread. In reality, capitalism is really defined by the unique way in which it organizes labor, with a single employer or small group at the top in control of everything, compared to a large majority of workers with little to no decision-making power. This setup is, by its very nature, an authoritarian system. There is no democracy in the workplace. You go to work and you do what you're told. If you like it, you can go to work for another capitalist king. It's so ironic how we spent so much time and effort during the American Revolution escaping the oppression of kings, only to rebrand them here as CEOs under this new system. I argue if you truly believe in democracy, that is, there are decisions that affect you, you should have decision-making power in those decisions. The workplace is the first place you would have developed democracy. This is the place where you spend most of your life at all. The best hours of the day are spent working to make someone else rich. Well, you have to figure out how you're going to pay for food because you don't make enough to pay for it yourself. Marx called it out over 100 years ago. The main problem with capitalism is its internal contradictions. One of these contradictions is of a system that is predicated on a boss who tries to maximize the difference between how you work and how much you get paid. Ultimately, if all bosses are successful in this, then that means we live in a society where the worker can no longer afford the goods and services they themselves are producing. After all, who is going to buy this consumer crap if nobody can afford it? Workers make up the majority of the economy. If most of us are broke, then who's left to buy all this stuff everybody's making? Suddenly, you now see the emergency situation we all find ourselves in, and why we all are in trouble regardless of race, creed, religion, or ideology. Because wages have been stagnant for 50 years compared to inflation in this country. In fact, wages of work around the world have actively been suppressed. How many more years do we have to go by before we no longer substitute that wage deficiency with overtime and debt? What happens when we have exhausted all possible alternatives to wage? When people are working not 2 or 3 jobs, but maybe 4 or 5, and sleeping as little as 4 hours a night to ensure the bills are paid, while praying they have enough left over to buy groceries. This isn't some nightmare worst case scenario here we're talking about. We are seeing this play out right now in this country, with 70% of the country living paycheck to paycheck, and a large portion of that percentage are actually living day to day within the gig economy. You know, DoorDashers who make just enough for money for gas while sleeping in their cars because they can't actually afford housing on the pathetic wage they get. Meanwhile, the true unemployment rate, if you include all the cherry-picked data the Bureau of Labor and Statistics leaves out to obfuscate the numbers, leaves us at nearly 24% unemployment. That is on par with the statistics of the Great Depression. This is Great Depression 2.0 we're living in, if that's why you're wondering why everybody is struggling so much. But nobody is class conscious because they have been firmly up the asses of capitalist distractions. Distractions like celebrity worship, consumerist trends, and manufactured drama. After all, how can you become aware the system is playing you for a fool if you're too distracted by the next TikTok trend, or latest influencer scandal, or the newest must-have gadget? How can you see the chains of capitalism when your attention is sold to endless media feeds, screens, and shiny illusions of fame and fortune? When our focus is so fractured, we can't even see the bars of the cage we live in. But this is all by design. A brand new bread and circus game, or a brand new bread and circus show for the modern age. This system ensures the conditions of its own existence by keeping us distracted, docile, and divided, all while the real levers of power stay in plain sight. And with this context, we can clearly see the contradiction of Billy Carson. Give me a moment. I'm going to get some water. Oh, yeah. All right. So, the critic of systems exploiting capitalism, his words, not mine, is himself a CEO of multiple businesses built on the very framework he claims is not true. A system where he occupies the top and the workers do not collectively own means of production. In other words, Carson is not outside capitalism, inside it, benefiting from it, and actively defending it. So we must now ask ourselves, how can a man so wise about the mysteries of Egypt, so articulate about the stars and consciousness, fail to see the truth of capitalism, the truth that it infects everything it touches? Billy Carson, the prophet of a new age, or just another brilliant mind trapped in the very same system he claims to oppose? Perhaps the real forbidden knowledge here is the criticism of capital itself. With that, we are going to take our first commercial break of the evening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share someone who would really appreciate our content. When we come back, I'll explain how capitalism is the main issue when it comes to the suppression of free energy and fringe science. Stay tuned for more, right here on Beneficence TV.
I want to talk to you about something that has been a topic of much debate and unfortunately too much misinformation. For decades, we've been told.
Have you heard about this Benefactor guy? This dude is talking about free energy, but here's the twist. He says it's not free energy. He's calling it energy recycling, which first off is kind of genius, right? Because when you say free energy, people immediately throw you in the crazy bin. But energy recycling, that sounds like some next level Tesla shit.
Yeah, man, it's all about the branding. But what is it that he's actually...
Hey, it's Aaron. Welcome. Better late than never, I say. Hey, Mike, how you doing? So we have a long evening ahead of us. We have a couple of different parts we're going to be going through, so you didn't miss much.
A field of energy from which everything arises. The same energy that powers an atom. Like, what? Bro, that's some deep shit. But then he breaks it down. He says, you can tap into this energy without breaking any known laws of physics by using something called back EMF capture.
Whoa, back EMF capture? Sounds like some serious sci-fi tech.
Dude, listen to this. He explains that when a coil collapses using a pulsed signal, the energy that would normally just get wasted, like just dissipate as heat, can actually be recycled. He says nature gives you back energy to stabilize the system, which makes sense if you think about how nature works. Like everything in nature is always trying to find balance, right?
So equilibrium, is that like how water always levels out or something? I'm trying to remember what Ms. Murphy said to me in 6th grade science all those years ago. What was that? Oh yeah, Elon, stop eating that glue and pay attention. Man, if only I had listened, I'd probably be the one inventing energy recycling instead of just talking about it.
Exactly. So he's saying that by intentionally destabilizing the system, collapsing the field, you actually get energy back as a kind of natural response. And here's where it gets wild. He compares it to pushing a swing. If you push at the right moment, you don't need to use a lot of energy and the swing gains momentum. But instead of a swing, he's using resonance to harness that extra energy without it becoming destructive. He says most traditional systems are like a surfer fighting against the current, while his method is like riding the wave to shore.
Dude, that's crazy. So he's basically saying the energy is already there. I just suck at using it efficiently?
That's what it sounds like. He's basically saying the way we harness energy now is like trying to swim against the tide. And if we used resonance instead, we'd be tapping into energy that's already there, just waiting to be used. I don't know, man. Either this guy is onto something or he's the most poetic bullshitter of all time.
Well, if he's legit, why isn't he all over the news? I haven't heard anything from him on X, formerly Twitter. He hasn't said anything bad about me on X. So, you know, I didn't ban him or anything. Look, I'm not the monster my therapist says I am. I mean, sure, I've spent millions of dollars training to beat a kangaroo in a fist fight, but that doesn't mean I'm dangerous. It just means I get shit done.
That's the real question, man. But here's the craziest part. I looked into him, and he's not selling anything. He open sources all of it. That's the real question, man. Either the system doesn't want to hear it, or we're about to find out if this guy disappears in the middle of the night.
Dude, that's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. That means if he's telling the truth, anybody could build this in their garage. You know what I say? Go fuck yourself, Benefactor.
Nope, no patents, no paywalls, just straight up, here, take it, see for yourself. Like, what kind of madman does that? Usually people either try to cash in or they get shut down before they can say a word. But this guy, he's out there on live streams showing people exactly how to replicate it.
I mean, if you want to try to take on my Tesla tech, how dare you put out better technology that is cheaper and safer? Go fuck yourself.
That's the thing, man. If it's real and people start building it, that's a game changer. We're talking about completely shifting how we think about energy. But also, if it's real, you got to wonder how long before somebody tries to stop it.
Or maybe we can think of it like how long before his Tesla mysteriously malfunctions.
Exactly. You ever notice how every time someone gets too close to this kind of stuff, they either disappear, get discredited, or somehow have a tragic accident? But this guy's going full transparency mode. He's putting it all out there where everyone can see it. Maybe that's his strategy. If enough people know, it can't just get buried.
Holy shit, this might be one of those moments, you know, like we look back and say that was the start of something huge.
Can't you hear his voice?
All right. Welcome back to the Red Pill series. I'm your host, the Benefactor, your benefactor for forbidden knowledge. For more than a century, inventors have glimpsed the possibility of unlimited power. Energy drawn not from oil, coal, or nuclear fusion, but from the very fabric of the universe itself. Nikola Tesla dreamed of transmitting free wireless energy across the globe. In fact, one of the only surviving audio recordings we have of Tesla includes him telling us the world will eventually run on free, abundant cosmic energy. I'm about to clip for you right now.
Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities. It can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy.
So, Tesla says, electric power is everywhere in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machineries without the need for coal, oil, gas, or any other fuels. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy. Now, this is exactly what Tesla said in that clip. I know it's a little degraded. Yet his investors, led by JP Morgan, withdrew funding the moment they realized there would be no meter on this technology. After all, it would be providing the world with energy free of charge. With no way to charge humanity for this energy, JP Morgan abandoned Tesla and his revolutionary idea, buried it, and eventually this paved the way for a smear campaign against Tesla. The rumors that Tesla had fallen in love with a pigeon were largely exaggerated to make him look bad, and a direct result of lost investor confidence, financial sabotage, and deliberate manipulation of public perception, leading people to believe he was simply crazy. This gave the public an easy excuse to dismiss his free energy claims. He was just a trick. He got too old. He went nuts, is what they would say. And just like that, the revolutionary ideas that could have liberated humanity from scarcity were buried under a mountain of ridicule, doubt, and manufactured skepticism. Again, this was not an accident. This was not exploitation of capitalism. This was capitalism doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect profits above progress. Let me repeat that. This is what capitalism is designed to do: protect profits above progress. All right? Or otherwise, we would still be using that light bulb designed 100 years ago that still works. No, we're using these cheap light bulbs that burn out after 100 or so hours because they're designed to. They're not designed to last. There's no profit in that. You want to be competitive, right, against your capitalist opponents. So, back to the point. I digress. You see, from the 20th century to today, countless pioneers have reported intimidation, buyouts, and suppression in areas of science that would be considered disruptive to the current energy market. Not because their devices were impossible, but because they were unprofitable and would disrupt the macroeconomic status quo. A few industrial fascists at the top of society would lose money, and as a result, lose power. That couldn't happen. So here's the truth. People like Billy Carson will not name. Free energy does not simply threaten bad actors, it threatens the very foundation of capitalism itself. Because if energy is free, then unnecessary markets begin to collapse. If abundance is infinite, boasting privateship loses meaning. And if humanity no longer needs to pay for survival, the system of control starts to disintegrate. Yes, I said it. True liberation and freedom will never come to humanity until we have free energy and the abolishment of capitalism. Until we push toward a system where the workers actually own the means of production, free energy is just a pipe dream. Because those at the top with the wealth and power will inevitably just use their wealth and power to rig the system in their favor. Imagine how different a worker-owned business would be. Would they all vote to outsource their own jobs, like we saw in America in the 80s and 90s? Or was that something the boss did to make himself more money at the expense of everybody else? If workers ran the operation democratically, they would never vote to get rid of their own jobs. They would never vote to give a disproportionate amount of money to one person, the CEO, while the others have to use food stamps to survive. It simply would never happen. All workers together generate the profit. Why does one person who generally doesn't contribute to the labor process end up getting most of that profit under capitalism? The answer lies within the organization of that labor. We need to teach people that there's a better way to organize labor. We need to teach them to stop their faith in celebrities and capitalists that are not just a part of the system, but actively maintaining it. Capitalists like JP Morgan are notorious for their greed, Morgan would have searched people for the air they breathe if he could have. After analyzing capitalism and learning its true nature, is it any wonder then that capitalism must bury free energy in order to continue to exist? That it must keep inventors silenced, ridiculed, even worse? This is not misuse. This is not corruption. This is the system itself working exactly as intended, funneling wealth from the bottom of society to the top. And so, when we speak of forbidden knowledge, we must first recognize the invisible prison we all live in, a prison called capitalism. We're going to take another short commercial break, and when we come back, Part 2 will go into the cost of disclosure under cap with a focus on Dr. Greer's work. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who would really appreciate our content. Stay tuned for more, only here on Beneficent TV.
Have you heard about this Benefactor guy? This dude is talking about free energy, but here's the twist. He says it's not free energy. He's calling it energy recycling, which first off is kind of genius, right? Because when you say free energy, people immediately throw you in the crazy bin. But energy recycling, that sounds like some next level Tesla shit.
Yeah.
Listen, Elon, we got to be smart about this. Very smart. Some would say the smartest. The founders, great guys, tremendous guys, wrote a beautiful document, but let's be honest, it's very outdated. Tremendously outdated. Almost as bad as low-flow toilets, folks. They don't flush. You know this, I know this, everybody knows this.
Right. The flushing technology is deeply inefficient. I mean, I could engineer a vacuum-powered hyperflush system, but instead here we are talking about flushing concepts. Which parts do we deorbit?
First of all, term limits. Gone. What's the point? The people love me. They want me. Have you seen the rallies? Thousands, Elon. Millions. It's practically a mandate from God.
Okay, but let's think strategically. If we dump term limits, we got to spin it for the people. Like democracy too, now with more freedom. Maybe say term limits are woke because they limit choices.
Genius. We call freedom forever. Let the people vote over and over and over again until they get it right, which is me. Very fair. Like a subscription model, but for elections.
Maybe we also flush the whole checks and balances thing. Too many checks, not enough balances. Very inefficient system.
I was just saying that. Checks, fake news, balance. I've already got it. I mean, have you seen my golf swing?
So, judiciary stays, or do we replace it with an AI? Maybe one that, thinks correctly?
Elon, my friend, that's why you're a visionary. A big thinker. We replace the Supreme Court with Truth GPT. No more interpretations, just cold, hard facts. And those facts are, of course, very good for me.
Love it. But what about the First Amendment? People keep saying things. I don't like when they say things.
Well, we keep half of it. The part where we can say anything. The other half, straight into the toilet. Swirl it around. Maybe add some bleach. Like a little disinfecting cocktail.
Good. Free speech, but only for shareholders.
See? This is why America wins with us, Elon. We're cutting the red tape, making democracy as smooth as a beautiful golden flush.
Wait, if we flush too much, doesn't that kind of break the system and then we're left ruling over chaos?
Elon! That's where you're wrong. We don't break it, we fix it. Like I fixed casinos, like I fixed Twitter. I mean X, like I fixed everything. Trust me, it's going to be beautiful. The best, most American flush in history.
Okay, but if this backfires, I do have a rocket out back and in my pants. Fully reusable, rapid re-entry, and elongated for maximum efficiency, courtesy of my amazing plastic surgeon.
Elon, I gotta say, tremendous work. Many people are saying it, but let me tell you, if we're talking size, I've got the biggest constitutional amendment right here. They say it's too long, too thick, too complicated. One woman even said it's a bit crooked. I say that's what makes it great.
Well, mine's state-of-the-art, incredible efficiency, ultra lightweight but powerful, like the armored Cybertruck, but personalized for maximum insemination. And we fixed the bulletproof function as well.
Not gonna lie, I'm impressed. But as you know, size does matter. In America, she loves a guy with a huge mandate. She doesn't mind if you grab her by the profit either.
Right. And speaking of things getting wrecked, are we still flushing term limits?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest flush in history. Tremendous. Like my ratings. And apparently like your new launch system.
Got it. Term limits, free speech for shareholders, Supreme Court replaced with Truth GPT, bold moves. But if this backfires, I still have a rocket out back.
Escape plans? Love it. Very smart. But trust me, Elon, this flush is going to make America great again.
This video was bang on brilliant stuff. I'll give it a shout out in my next video. I've forwarded it to Malcolm to check out too.
The viewers have spoken.
What an amazing documentary. Thanks for producing it.
Never seen this all tied together so well. Gonna share the heck out of it. Bravo and thank you.
Divine Science is officially a hit.
Amazing stuff, very nicely presented. New sub who can't consume your content quick enough. Great video, dude. Keep at it, you are doing the good work.
You did a great job putting this all together. It's a great overview, goes into amazing depth at times, so it's interesting for the larger swath of people. Well played, sir.
Okay, so I didn't sleep last night because I watched this 3 times and binged the rest of the channel. You have fantastic instincts for piecing concepts together. Almost every section was something I was already familiar with in a different context, and this documentary was the thread connecting them all.
Join us on a journey into a place of hidden knowledge. A place where science is stranger than fiction.
Thanks, guys, for all your wonderful comments. It's good to see you back, everybody. Now, welcome back. Part 2 of today's episode is about Stephen Greer and the cost of disclosure. Now, this isn't a hit piece. Greer has done more for the Disclosure Project, or movement rather, than most of us have done with our own channel. This episode is about contradictions. It's about what happens when the mission to free the world gets caught in the gravity well of capitalism. So let's take it back, way back to 2001. Stephen Greer, former ER doctor, founder of the Disclosure Project, rolls into National Press Club in DC and drops a cosmic truth bomb. Dozens of military officials, FAA personnel, defense contractors, they all were lining up to say, yeah, we've seen some shit, and it ain't weather balloons, y'all. The press conference was historic for many reasons. First of all, since the conference, the UFO subject went fringe to, maybe we should listen to this guy. Greer put his name, face, and reputation on the line here. He wasn't in it for, he was in it for the mission. He respect. But then something happened. As people tuned in, the movement grew, the message spread, and the message being, you can contact ETs with your consciousness and a phone app. So then we cue in the CE5 protocols and contact app Greer put out for a price. Cue the documentaries, the merch, and the lavish $3,500 retreats. $3,500 retreats. So wait, hold up. That's where the dissonance creeps in, right? Because if we're on the brink of full disclosure and free energy for everybody, why does it feel like you need a platinum card just to see a UFO from a resort in Joshua Tree hosted by Greer? Is Greer a sellout? A guru? A businessman? Or just a dude trying to keep the lights on while playing interdimensional tag extraterrestrials? So let's be fair here. Running security, funding films, hosting events, it all costs real money. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that you can crowdfund that all with necklaces and good vibes alone. But here's the trap of capitalism. And it's one a lot of us can fall into if we're not careful. When the message becomes brand, and that brand becomes a business, you're no longer just managing disclosure. You're managing a machine that now has the intent on ensuring the conditions of its own existence, regardless of its own mission. Now listen, I've seen the footage of Dr. Greer's UFO retreats. Some of it is powerful stuff, but some of it as well, let's just say, if I wanted to see flares falling from the sky, I'd go to the 4th of July barbecue in the hood. It really hurts Greer's credibility because if you sell real stuff next to something that looks like a low-budget sci-fi show, people will start to question all of it. And that's the heartbreaking thing here, because Greer's early work was solid. The interviews with free energy pioneers, absolutely legendary. The UFO whistleblower interviews, chilling. Somewhere along the line, the need to sustain the empire, security, legal protections, keeping the team fed and the narrative alive, maybe it bent the mission. Not out of greed, maybe just out of necessity, or more momentum, or fear of irrelevance. And if that's the case, it's not a Stephen Greer problem, it's a systemic one. We're going to now play the video that kind of got me questioning things here. And to be honest, it was one of the first videos I seen of Dr. Greer's, and it initially led me to believe that he was a con man. Further research into his, disclosure project and what it was actually able to accomplish was all those interviews with, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, John Bedini. I think, no, did he? John Bedini? I'm not sure if he interviewed, but he interviewed a lot of scientists and inventors and whistleblowers regarding energy and UFOs. And in that realm, he has done more work than anybody. But a couple of things stand out in this video, and I want to play it for you now so I can point out these concerns.
What is that orange object? Look how beautiful.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Whoa,
Film
just
it.
don't pop
stand
too
up,
much.
Please. Crouch down and look, because you'll block our cameras.
Wow.
Those behind me may move and stand up. Okay, you see that color?
Yeah. That's not a plane.
No. Oh no.
No, that's a ship.
So let's thank them for coming.
Wow, and it's above the sea level.
Please turn off your night scope, Charles. Off.
Someone's infrared or whatever.
Yeah, that's Charles.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, here they come. There are two.
Whoever's right in the front, if you can kind of just stay low, because your head is right.
You can get on your knees in front of Richie. Look at this, how gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I'm looking with the night scopes. There's no smoke, there's no trails. These are not flares. And
oh my goodness.
Okay, let's welcome them here.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
They were waiting for us to arrive. Jacques,
Whoa.
please photograph.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
cameras should be filming. So connect to them in your consciousness and invite them here. These are the golden ones I talked about. See how gold? Yeah. Because the horizon is only 7 to 10 miles depending on the conditions. So it's probably a couple miles. Everybody see them?
Yeah, they're so beautiful.
Let's welcome their beings on board to join us in meditation. That is such a beautiful color, so you'll never forget that color. This is huge. Yeah, this is a major event. So we are grateful. So open your heart chakra and send them the beauty of humanity. And if you can see what I'm doing, you connect with your palms out like this, and your third eye and your heart, making like a tetrahedron radiating our pureness and love towards them. They emerge from the sky, but they're very, very close to the ocean. They're just hovering. They're not...
Whoever's just right in front of the yellow kind of blue jacket, your head's... No, yeah, you just kind of went to go down. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna move.
We should be filming.
I am filming, but just trying to avoid...
Those in front, if you can get on your knees or sit on the ground and look in front of your chairs, but stay low. Thank you.
Just gonna reposition.
You need a higher tripod.
No, I can bring it high, I just don't want
Well, don't wait, or you're going to lose it. Just
Yeah,
stay.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
keep
yeah.
with it. There's not enough time for that.
All right, as I've said, a couple of things stand out in this video. The obvious one is the obvious slowly falling objects in the background appearing to behave like flares is the first indicator that this might not be as it would seem. The obvious frame rate issue is another concern. Why are you filming this historic event with a camera that has a frame rate of like 15 frames per second? That is also a concern. And one last question, why does it appear that the speed of the video has been slowed down slightly? I mean, it could just be the frame rate making it look a bit slower, but one thing is for sure, when sped up, you can clearly see the objects in the background falling. Could these be tricks to obfuscate the truth? Could these be manipulations? The frame rate, speed adjustments, all deliberate, making the mundane look extraordinary? Because here's the thing. When footage is unclear or edited, it doesn't just confuse the audience, it erodes trust. It makes people doubt everything, even the real, undeniable events. And in the world of disclosure, doubt is the weapon of those who want to keep secrets hidden. This footage is very suspicious. To me, they clearly look like flares, dropped from a plane flying from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen. And when you speed up the video, it's more obvious. So we have to ask ourselves this question. Is this sloppy filming, or is it a reflection of a broader pattern, where the mechanisms of control, fear, and narrative management end up coloring the evidence itself? Either way, the responsibility falls not on the storyteller, but the system that forces even the most dedicated truth seekers to compromise clarity for survival. You see, capitalism loves to monetize hope, package it, upcharge it, resell it at a weekend seminar with a catered lunch. And if you're not careful, even the most revolutionary ideas, alien contact, zero-point energy, the end of fossil fuels, these all get shrink-wrapped and sold like cosmic infomercials. This is why so many disclosure projects, truth movements, and alternative energy heroes burn out, sell out, or fade out. So what do we do about it all? Well, how do we here at Beneficence TV keep from falling into the same trap? How do we share forbidden knowledge without becoming a vending machine for esoteric junk? First, we give credit where credit's due. Greer cracked the door wide open for a lot of us. His courage, his documents, his press events, that all mattered. But then we must ask, where did it all go off track for Greer? Okay? And most importantly, how do we build something better? Because here's the deal. We're not trying to start a cult or a franchise or a luxury contact experience with room service. We're building a community here, not a company. That's why one of our long-term goals on this channel is to form a worker-owned media cooperative. That's right, inject a little democracy where capitalism has no interest. The economy itself. Imagine this. Researchers, editors, animators, hosts, all owning a piece of project. No shareholders demanding profit, no guru at the top making unanimous decisions that pisses everybody else off. Just a team committed to truth, open access, and shared growth. Now, that's how you protect the message from the money. That's how you keep disclosure clean. That's how we avoid becoming what we set out to expose. So to Stephen Greer, thank you so much for the foundation we have now, but we'll get from here with love and maybe just a few less flares. You've been listening to the Red Pill series on BeneficenceTV. Subscribe, share, and support the revolution. A revolution that cannot be bought, but it can be built from the ground up. I'm the benefactor of your forbidden knowledge. Until next time, stay benevolent, serious, stay woke.
Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
Thank you all so much for joining me here on the channel.
They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard, injustice, burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish, wanting and ploys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world begin to play. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? In the darkest nights, a dreamer with vision beneath the laughter and noise. A future so bright, waiting for the right choice. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
The secret circuits unraveling through the miles. Oh, truth was masked by golden curtains. You didn't know we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. From the shadows, light emerges, breaking through the veils of dark. 0 points and gravity converge, yeah. Guiding voices, revelation start. Ancient whispers call. They're begging us to open our eyes. We stand tall, defying all that. Even in now, we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. Forbidden knowledge we dare to see. Unveiling secrets, setting minds free. Revelations on the